We got a big show today. I'm ashamed I don't have any alien stuff behind me or near me even right now.
I'm ashamed because I have a Weyland Yutani sweatshirt that I don't know where it is. And I was like, I'm gonna wear it. And I like went to go find it. I couldn't find it.
Ghostface is pissed. We're talking about one of my other favorite film franchises. So we had a lot of changes last minute because the Alien Romulus trailer just dropped, and I feel like usually we banter a little bit at the beginning of the show, but let's just not, because I'm really excited to talk about this. Just so everybody has a little bit of background on the production. According to the film's official synopsis, this is a quote: "The film will bring the franchise back to its roots. While scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonizers come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe." That's pretty accurate. And I feel like whenever I see something in an official synopsis, like this new movie will bring the franchise back to its roots, I'm like, yeah, sure, we'll see. That's what this trailer felt like to me. Teaser trailer. I should correct it. It is a teaser trailer. And whether it is officially labeled a trailer or a teaser trailer, I tend to like the teaser trailer format best in my promotion. And in particular with this film, I am so happy they went that route with their first bit of footage.
This trailer is the epitome of a teaser. Like it gave us everything that I feel like you need from a teaser trailer. We know the tone, we know the general vibe that it seems like they're going with. We got little bits and pieces to kind of get us hyped for, sequences, but nothing to really tell us, like, nothing really spoiling us on plot or characters or anything like that. Just kind of like, here's the important basic stuff that you need to know to be hyped for this. All right, go.
It's so effective. It's so effective. Like revealing the pod covered in blood kind of gave me, obviously in a dark, sinister way, but it gave me chills.
I have already watched the trailer a dozen times. Like because it only came out like what, 15, 20 minutes ago?
Something like that.
Yeah. And I have just had it on repeat because because I didn't know that anything was dropping. And then I saw in our dailies chat, you were like, change the thumbnail to something alien. And I was like, wait, there's something alien. Yeah. And so like, I dove in and I was like, holy crap. And I just had to like really get into it. And it made me so happy that I actually legitimately teared up.
I don't blame you. Remind me, is this your favorite film franchise?
It is.
It is. I knew you've said that in the past.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not my favorite because people know it's Jurassic and Scream, but it's pretty damn high up on the list for me.
Aliens is my Jurassic Park. Like that is my favorite movie of all time. Like I've always loved it ever since I saw it at way too young of an age. Like it's been something that for large periods of my life I've been like obsessed with. There was a point in my life where I could have sat you down and explained all of the stages of gestation of a chest burster, like from a biological standpoint, and be like, okay, after this many hours, we're at this point, and blah, 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 blah. Like I was super, super into it, and I still very much am. So when I saw this and I saw the direction that they're going with it, it made me just so happy, especially as somebody who, and we've talked about this kind of briefly in the past, me and you, I don't know if we have on dailies. I did not like Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
It kind of like, it left me in a real bummer spot. So seeing this is just like, it's warmed my heart so much. I'm so excited.
This one's been on a good track for a while now, just in terms of me having high expectations and hopes that it's going to meet those expectations. The cast and the director of this movie make me really happy. Yeah. I am a big Fede Alvarez fan. And, another thing about this trailer that gave me chills is when it name drops things like Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, those are really strong credentials. They're obviously two very different films compared to an Alien film, but there is some stylistic similarities. And I think you see that on display in this teaser. And there's just loads of things about his filmography that I think will serve a new Alien movie well. And then just look at this cast, Cailee Spaeny in particular. We recently did the Civil War review on Collider Dailies. I think she is one of the best of the best. I don't just think she's having like, oh, a great year, a great couple of months between Civil War, Priscilla, and now this. Since I first saw her in something, I'm like, that's like real natural talent that will likely make her one of the best of her generation. And I feel like that's kind of an undeniable truth at this point. So I'm really excited to see her. And like the rest of the ensemble is great. Obviously, we just got Isabela Merced in Madam Web, and she's yet another one that's just like bursting at the seams with natural talent and like impossibly captivating on-screen charisma. You just can't take your eyes off of her. So with the two of them and the rest of the ensemble and Fede Alvarez, I just have such a good feeling we have a winner here.
Yeah. Alvarez being at the helm, that is the one thing that through the entire process, like as soon as he was attached to it, I felt a lot more comfortable with it and a lot more confident that it was going to be good, because Evil Dead and Don't Breathe are two of my favorite horror films of probably like the last decade or so. And so like I had faith that he was going to do a good job, and seeing it and seeing like the production design and everything about it and the world feeling so familiar to me as somebody who has been a lifelong fan. It just, I am so happy, Perri. Words cannot express how just stoked I am. And I was kind of having a bad day before this trailer dropped, and now I'm like, this is the best day ever. I'm ready to like conquer anything. I'm here.
One of my biggest regrets on today's Collider Dailies is that I'm on the East Coast and not on the West Coast, where I have my favorite Alien t-shirt. It's this adorable cartoon face hugger, and just underneath it's like little wide eyes. It just says hugs with a question mark. I would indeed give that face hugger a hug. From one trailer on to the next. This one isn't a first trailer. This is a second trailer, and it's for Furiosa. So a little background on this one, just in case you haven't caught up, but I feel like most people do know this movie by now. So as the world fell, young Furiosa is snatched up from the green place and falls into the hands of a great biker horde I thought it was the Great Biker Horde for a minute, because the B in biker and H in horde are capitalized. I don't know if that's their official name. We will find out. By their warlord, who of course is played by Chris Hemsworth. They come across the Citadel, presided over by Immortan Joe. While the two tyrants war for dominance, Furiosa must survive many trials as she puts together the means to find her way home. How did you, remind me, I don't remember if we did dailies together for this. How did you feel about the first Furiosa trailer?
I liked it, but I wanted more. Like it was, I didn't get a vibe of like what was going on or anything like that. I know that this is a little bit contradictory to what I said earlier about the teaser thing, but I felt like it felt almost directionless in some ways, where I was just like, this feels like it's just a stringing of action set pieces together.
Not knowing what's going on and directionless, I think, are two different things. So I feel like your comments before still apply, because not only did that first trailer not have the like the teaser trailer, like a slow build introducing you to the lay of the land kind of thing, but it was also, in my opinion at least, not the most well cut trailer, because it was all scattershot and fast and all over the place, and that could lead to what you're describing.
Now, it's worth being said that like, no matter, like we could have just not gotten a teaser or a trailer for this movie at all, and I'd still be seeing it. Love Mad Max, loved Fury Road, loved the character Furiosa. So like having a bad trailer or not wasn't going to destroy my hype. But this new trailer, because this one is a little bit more fleshed out, it's a little bit fuller. I've got more of an idea of like what to expect as far as the plot, a little bit more what to expect of this sort of younger Furiosa. It's got me a little bit more, not necessarily excited because I was already excited, but a little bit more comfortable with where we're going, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. I fell into, I guess, the majority with, or it seemed like the majority with that first trailer. And, you know, admittedly, I was bothered by what I thought was an extensive amount of digital effects. And I don't want to make that comment come across like all digital effects are bad, because I feel like sometimes that phrasing can be taken that way. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. I think visual effects artists are wildly talented movie making magicians. I think why it's so incredibly glaring in that first trailer, though, is because the fact that they went above and beyond with practical effects in the first movie, in Mad Max Fury Road at least, was a very, very like clear and evident right before your eyes kind of thing. And that movie just had this like reach out and touch it texture to them. Everything felt like highly detailed and, I mean, as authentic as possible. Whereas I do think the digital sheen took away from that a little bit. And also, you know, the coloring of the footage seemed off to me. I don't necessarily think the second trailer obliterates those concerns that I have, because I do prefer the look and the style of the first film compared to the footage that I'm seeing here. But this new Furiosa trailer is far superior in terms of how it presents story, character, and just how it's cut overall. The build in it is like pretty damn impeccable, and the music choice in this, The Man Who Sold the World, spot on spin on that. It is so powerful, and that's something that like really revved me up watching this trailer, was the fact that it was backed by such like an effectively booming song choice.
Yeah, I just thought that overall, as you said, the editing on the trailer was just head and shoulders way better. And as far as like the whole digital sheen on it, I feel like this film, I almost want to say it looks like it's a bit stylized. Like it has like, it's not necessarily going for sort of the grittier, grimier Mad Max feel. It's almost like it's trying to give it its own stylistic thing. This trailer had a little bit less of that than the first one did, but watching both of them, I was kind of looking at it. I was like, okay, this feels a little bit comic booky, a little bit like mythological, almost like it has like a storybook feel sort of to it. And that's kind of why I was thinking like the stylisticness of it sort of played a little bit.
Well,
but that's
the other thing about a change in style, is that if the story warrants it for some reason and winds up becoming enhanced because it looks a little different, I'll be really thrilled about that. But when you're just assessing it based on a trailer, especially a trailer right after the release of Mad Max Fury Road, which was my favorite film of 2015, I think it's 15. The difference between the two can be a little jarring. And Vincent, you're not wrong. Fury Road did have a lot of CGI. I'm afraid to say this stat without remembering the quote clearly, but I believe I read somewhere that it's something like 2,000 VFX shots. But I think a lot of those shots were things like removing wires and stuff like that. Like obviously certain landscapes and structures, buildings were created digitally in order to make them possible. But I do think there's a noticeable difference in how it's being used here, at least from like what my eye can perceive. I'm no expert in those particular areas of the field. So for all I know, I'll see a VFX breakdown and it'll be more similar to what was going on Fury Road. But this is just my impression based on a trailer and a trailer alone.
George Miller is such a like proponent of physical, like he like very much prefers to have as much visual effects, as much in-camera stuff as possible. So I have confidence that there's going to be a substantial amount of physical practical work. But you know, there is of course going to be CGI. That's just the world that we live in now. And especially when you're trying to do something as grand as this film seems to be setting up, you got to be able to do those things to actually achieve it.
Yeah, I mean it's an important tool, and one that is used to enhance film. So all I can hope is that whether it's visual effects or any department's work on this movie, everything is serving a clear vision that's gonna rock my world as much as Fury Road did. So we shall see where we go with this one. I mean,
very high bar.
That that movie, that's one of those movies where I was just having this conversation at South by Southwest. I think you know this about me too. I feel like we discussed this at Fantastic Fest. I very, 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 very rarely give a film a 5 out of 5. because I feel something doesn't feel right to me about calling a piece of art perfect, especially after only being able to see it once, if not twice. But I do think that going back in time, like looking back on something, I would want to give it the 5 out of the 5 out of 5 now, with the disclaimer that it's a 5 out of 5 on my personal scale, not some sort of like broad scientific or mathematical equation to figure out perfect art, which I think is absurd. Anyway, I would go back and I would give Fury Road a 5 out of 5. And you know what else I'd give a 5 out of 5 to? Inside Out. I don't know why that just came to mind. Maybe because that one came out in 2015 as well, but that was a good damn year for movies.
Your ability to recall what year movies come out is like very impressive to me.
I feel like I'm right about that. Now I'm afraid I'm not right about it, but I feel like that only applies to the years that I was working in this industry. Like if it happens before that, I'm hopeless.
Okay, so if I asked you for a movie like 2002,
unless it's Jurassic Park, Scream, or Final Destination, like nope,
what year was
went
Scream
like
3 released?
Which one?
Scream 3.
Scream 3. Oh god, now you're putting me on the spot and now I'm panicking. 96, 97. Oh fuck. Why'd you do this to me, man?
I don't think anybody's gonna judge you if you can't place when Scream 3 came out.
But I can. I like that's and I love how that's the only blank spot in my brain. Nobody tell me in the 2000.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's 96, 97, 2000, 2011, 2022, 2023. That's the timeline. It's
so
2000.
What year did you say?
It's 2000. It has to be 2000.
All right, yeah, you're right.
Because when I was making that comment, I said Jurassic, Scream, and Final Destination. I'm like, shit, like did Final Destination just cloud my brain because that was 2000? That was 2000. And then the second one was 2002. We shouldn't play this game right now.
Wait, the first Final Destination was 2000?
I think so.
Why am I thinking that's a 90s series? Now I gotta look this up. Because to me, Final Destination feels way older.
So Final Destination has to be 2000 because I've had this conversation with folks before where I think because maybe elements of it were sparked by certain horror crazes that were unfolding in the 90s. Many just associate it with a 90s franchise, but it began in 2000.
For me, it's the fact that it stars Devon Sawa. Like he is such a 90s personality that like
he's a 90s icon and he's still an icon. Dude's still a force today.
Now, can you name the years that Scream came out? Can you name the Final Destination years?
I'm sweating right now. I feel like I'm gonna fail with Final Destination, but I think at the very least it's 2000. The second one's either 2002 or 2003. I know that for I feel like I'm spot on with that. I'll stick with my first guess and go 2002. 3's throwing me off. Three's throwing me off again. I'll circle back to that.
The Final Destination.
I try to forget that one sometimes.
Okay, we all do.
It's got some great scenes, but overall, it's glaringly the weakest of the franchise. I love how we're like playing a game right now that I'm so engrossed in that we haven't moved on to our next topic.
That's fine.
I'll tell you that Final Destination 5 is 2011. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so if I move backwards from that, the Final Destination was probably 2009. I'm right. And then if I move back from that, see, I feel like this one's not going to align the way I want. I'll say 2005. I don't think that's right though.
So 2006. So Final Destination 3 was 2006. However, you were wrong on Final Destination 2. It was 2003.
You
said 2002.
I knew whatever I picked it was going to be wrong.
Because the 2, 3, and 4 were 3-year intervals, and then 5 broke that by going 2011.
That was fun.
John single-handedly bringing back the Schmodown.
That's what this was. All right.
I'm not saying no.
Just like when I played Schmodown, I'm in a sweat all over again. Let's move on to our next topic. Our next topic is Cobra Kai season 6. There were some teases that one of the show's co-creators, John Hurwitz, revealed on Twitter. He's a great person to follow, by the way. If you don't, and you're a big fan of Cobra Kai and his work in general, he'll do Q&A sometimes, and they're just delightful and informative. And I feel like a lot of people who are fans of Cobra Kai would appreciate them. So one of the bigger things that he mentioned in that Q&A is someone in particular asked him if we're going to learn more about Kreese and Silver, and specifically referenced flashbacks that we saw of them. And John's reply to that was, season 6 expands the Karate Kid / Cobra Kai universe more than the first 5 seasons combined. The world building has been truly exhilarating. Excited for everyone to see the diversity of scenes we've been filming episode to episode. We're going to so many new places in the Miyagi-verse. That's a pretty good tease right there.
Can we just take a second to point out how crazy it is that Cobra Kai is such a big, like, it's one of those sort of like cultural touchstones, I feel like right now, like one of those water cooler shows that everybody seems to be watching, but it started off as a YouTube original.
So I feel like the way you're saying that, it also sounds negative. YouTube originals might get bad reputations. I think they were churning out some real high quality stuff, and people didn't catch on until it was too late. When Cobra Kai debuted, they also debuted, and this, I feel like some people might roll their eyes at this description, but like, bear with me here. There was the Jumper series, the adaptation, the movie Jumper. They turned it into a series, and it was called Impulse, and it starred Maddie Hassan, and it was real damn good. It ran for 2 seasons, and while Cobra Kai moved over to another streamer, that one didn't. But if you get the opportunity to circle back, it's excellent TV.
Trust me, as somebody who like basically lives his entire life on YouTube, I'm not like putting down YouTube. It's just that I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I was reminded when I was like looking into this tease, and I was like, oh crap, yeah, it was a YouTube original. It's one of those like artifacts of several years ago that like it's not a thing anymore. They don't do YouTube originals anymore. And so it's just like bizarre to think about.
And it's been a high quality show since day one.
Oh, yeah.
The idea, a lot of things he teased here really, piques my interest. In particular, saying that they're going to expand the universe in one single season more than 5 seasons combined. That's a bold statement right there.
That's a lot.
It makes it. I don't know anything about what they have planned. This is just my theory based on a statement like this. Perhaps that could mean they're opening the world enough to maybe have some sort of connection to this new film they're doing, especially given Ralph Macchio is going to be in it. But the other thing that I keep thinking is that I feel like these guys don't want to leave the Cobra Kai world, and I feel like Cobra Kai proper can't wind down without the announcement of a spin-off series.
Yeah.
So perhaps the broadening of the world will wind up supporting a spin-off series, if not more, like multiple spin-off series when this one comes to a conclusion.
I definitely do hope that at the very least they tie this into the movie. I'm hoping for a spin-off series, something like that. I don't know what they would do for a spin-off series, but this season will probably set it up if they're going to go that way. I know that as far as the film, they've kind of been dancing around if it connects.
How do you have Ralph Macchio in it and it not connect? I feel like
unless it just completely ignores Cobra Kai.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like that would just upset people.
Cobra Kai is way too popular for any executive at a studio to assume that viewers would wind up. I feel, I don't want to speak for everyone. I hate making broad statements. I don't know why I teed it up like that, but I suspect, and perhaps even me as a fan, it would feel like a little bit of a slap in the face to completely ignore Cobra Kai after 6 seasons. After 6 seasons, so much investment, so much important lore. If Ralph Macchio just showed up in that movie and there was absolutely I'm not talking about some sort of epic crossover. I don't need tons of characters from Cobra Kai, but there needs to be some sort of reference to it that they all exist within the same universe.
Yeah. Maybe have William Zabka show up in the movie. Even if he only shows up for like a scene.
I'll never say no to a Billy Zabka cameo. My, again, theorizing about that film feels like it might not be a journey that would need to include that character. Maybe he's off doing his own thing, but I don't know. Again, that's just the wheels in my head turning and maybe turning out of control. Who knows?
I feel like all of this is just, kind of throwing stuff into the wind until we've actually seen this next season.
Of course.
I'm
so excited.
But yeah, either way, I think it's going to be fantastic. I actually have to get caught up on Cobra Kai. I'm a couple of seasons behind.
John.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
listen,
but you know how I am with TV shows.
I know you're busy. But it's Cobra Kai.
I know. I also put off even starting watching it for like 3 years. So I'm really bad when it comes to the show, and I don't know why.
So good. I not only have I watched all of it, but I've watched the seasons too many times. Just to tease a couple of other little things that John brought up here that caught my eye. Someone asked what makes the Saikai Taikai such a special tournament, and he responded, the unpredictability, the international scope, the skill level of the fighters. Then there was this other question here. Someone asked if the Saikai Taikai will span 2 episodes like previous tournaments featured in seasons. And he said, I won't say how many episodes take place at the Saikai Taikai, but I will say our stunt team will be deserving of all the awards for the work they're doing on season 6. We've taken things up a notch. I mean, that's one of the most acclaimed and decorated aspects of Cobra Kai is how their stunt team has been recognized. And there's certain fight scenes in past Cobra Kai seasons that are like all timers for me. So if he's teeing up the fights in season 6, especially that tournament this high, pretty damn pumped to see what they've got there.
I can only I feel like it's one of those things where they're going to be trying to go bigger and more bombastic than they have in the past, which has me excited to see what they're working on. But at the same time, I'm sitting here and I'm like, how much further do you take it? What more do you do? Is it just more, or do you go bigger with what you're doing?
I mean, I think that team in particular has been especially successful, and it bums me out when franchises do the bigger and better things, but bigger doesn't always mean better. I think they've swung bigger in unique ways that also serve the story. And that's why the fights remain dynamic, but also powerful in story. Every single fight that I've seen in Cobra Kai serves a purpose beyond just look how cool this fight is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like they're going to do that again here.
Pretty much every time that there's a fight in that show, it is somehow tied to some major character moment or some major character beat, which I think is part of why that show is so good, is because with a show with a premise like this, it would be really easy to have fighting for fighting's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a show about karate students. It would just,
well, sometimes they joke about that, I guess.
Yeah. But they don't do that. And that is something that I love about that show, because it's not gratuitous fighting. It's fighting when it makes sense for what is happening at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I want to point out one more tweet. Someone asked, because I feel very strongly about this, will Dimitri get more time to shine this season? Because Dimitri always shines. But he didn't have as much screen time as I would have liked to have seen in season 5. John's reply to that was, Dimitri shines like a diamond in season 6. I need more Dimitri. I need more Binary Brothers. I find the two of them delightful together, and I just want to see that relationship expand in season 6.
I just want to see more of everybody. I love the entire cast. I love all of these characters. They're so well fleshed out and so well performed by the actors.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Could not agree more. All right. With that, we will wind down today's Collider Dailies. Any cool video you've been working on that you want to plug, John?
Well, I did one over the weekend that was, it was the top canceled Marvel movies. Ooh. And normally that would be a pretty by the numbers sort of thing for me, but I went above and beyond and I made fake movie posters for all of the movies. They aren't anything like super flashy because I'm not like a great graphic designer, but I had some fun with it. And so if you want to go check out that article and video, it's up on collider.com, or you can go over to the Collider YouTube channel and it's up on there.
That's awesome. I can't wait to check that out. I will just take a moment to tease. I mean, not tease because they're up and running at this point. So many South by Southwest interviews. So many. Nonstop. Dropping on Collider.com and the Collider Interviews YouTube channel. And I will tell you, literally the second you leave Collider Dailies, you could go over to the Interviews channel and watch this particular interview. It's the one that I did at South by Southwest for Immaculate. And there's no review embargo. I could say it. We're going to do a proper review on Friday, but I liked Immaculate quite a bit, and it's got a particular scene in it that I think is going to be one of my favorite scenes of 2024. I will leave you with that. Go check that out after you leave this, and stay tuned. Collider Dailies will be back 10 a.m. PT tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone.